What's up YouTube, it's Big Fish here with another reaction video. Today we're here with one of the worst mayors in the country. He's in our favorite state of Illinois, in our favorite city of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. It don't look like he had a mohawk today, it looked like he's letting that fade away. But he's doing an interview with Channel 9 News of Chicago. So let's hear some of his stances and points and see if they actually ask some good questions.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson will not take no for an answer. Tonight he's announcing a new push for progressive revenue. What will be different this time? And how will Chicago respond to federal agents killing another U.S. citizen in Minnesota? Tonight, we get to the point.
This is The
That
Point
goofy smile.
with Tamon Bradley.
But it's nothing but chaos and destruction behind it.
Good evening. I'm Tamon Bradley. Our first guest tonight, Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's a former CPS teacher and union organizer. Mayor Johnson has been in office just shy of 3 years. Mayor, you are our first guest. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, and congratulations on your new show.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Mayor, we do have some breaking news tonight. Several reports say Border Chief Greg Bovino is expected to leave Minneapolis tomorrow. The Atlantic is reporting he is losing his title as Commander at Large and could retire soon. We want to begin in Minneapolis, Mayor, where 2 U.S. citizens have been shot dead by federal agents. You called for ICE to be abolished. In October, you signed an executive order establishing ICE-free zones in the city of Chicago. But after that, we saw federal agents pursue a teacher into a daycare, and there were other high-profile incidents. So, Mayor, how do you ensure that what's happening in Minneapolis doesn't happen here in Chicago?
Well, first of all, the reckless and unconstitutional behavior by the Trump administration has created a great deal of terror, not just in Chicago, but as you mentioned, Minneapolis and across this country. I've used every single executive tool that's available to me to respond to what essentially is an unprecedented moment in our nation's history, where you have a president that is
His city's broke. They just lost the Chicago Bears. Now they're the Indiana Bears. And I believe over 80% of the people want him out of office. He has a negative approval rating. I don't know what he's talking about, how he's helping. The 2 new people that got killed in Minnesota, I actually have not seen that, so I do need to do some research on that. But in all these instances, why are they not complying? Why aren't these people who are being killed complying?
declared war on working people. And so whether it's the courts, which we have battled in the courts in every single lawsuit that's been brought against us, we have defeated the Trump administration. Every single piece of litigation that we
every time it goes to Supreme Court, they
so
lose.
we're going to use executive authority, litigation, but we're also going to continue to challenge the people of this country to get organized and to continue to challenge this administration. Greg Bovino is just one component of this administration that has behaved recklessly. It's going to take a great deal of accountability to finally bring this administration to heel.
Today, President Trump and the Minnesota governor announced that they will be working to draw down the size of the federal surge in that state. Question, Mayor, have you thought about, to save lives, maybe cooperating more with the feds?
Well,
wow, that's crazy. Actually helping ICE would save lives. Why has no one thought about, oh, because we're fighting a war. Because y'all didn't win an election. Over an election, y'all let y'all citizens die. Y'all keep illegals. But you're gonna be losing your mayor chair here when y'all have your next election. You're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. You've been doing a horrible job.
look, we have historically cooperated with the federal government to get illegal guns off the streets of Chicago, in other cases of trafficking. This is not about cooperation. This is about whether or not we're going to subject the people of this city and this country to an authoritarian regime at this moment. What this moment really calls for is real check and balance to this administration. He has caused a great deal of turmoil. He has terrorized families across this country. Never in a million years did we ever imagine the federal government not only killing, shooting, and separating families, but essentially doing it without any accountability.
Obama blew
City
up
of
people
Chicago,
with
our
drones
city
and he put
council
kids in
rather
cages.
considering giving
Illegals in
civilian
cages.
officer
Okay.
police accountability,
All right.
new
Cool.
power to investigate
Okay.
complaints made against CPD where they may have violated the Welcoming City Ordinance. Do you believe that CPD has violated that ordinance, and what do you think about the push to give them that new power?
Well, first of all, the CPD has worked within the confines of the Welcoming City Ordinance, which simply states that our local police department will not assist federal agents in civil immigration enforcement, not without a warrant at the very least. Now, as far as the ability to investigate, I've called for that, going back over the past summer, that we do need to have accountability mechanisms to ensure that we are working in full transparency and that our police department is doing exactly what the law states. So this is something that I've called for. It's something that I'm pushing for. And I think it's well within the reasonable element of this government to ensure that the Welcoming City Ordinance is being adhered to.
Mayor, I'm going to try to make a hard turn here and ask you about money. You have an announcement to make. Tell us about it.
Let's hear about this.
Well, I guess you would love for a big announcement to take place on your
Please, on the debut show.
On the debut show. I mean, look, I've worked hard to fulfill the commitment that I made to the people of Chicago to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. We just experienced a 60-year low in homicides. We're building more affordable homes.
He's lying. Once again, we can go every week when you got your teen takeovers, when you got your what is it, Juneteenths, when you got your 4th of July's, anarchy in Chicago. People are dropping like flies, and he's talking about the homicide rate has went down. Ooh, it's when we're talking about they're not correctly filing the things that are happening, all the crime that's happening. They're just letting it fly by just so they can have a bunch of handshakes and smiles. He's not letting the CPD do their job or even help federal agents. This man is evil anarchy.
Than we have had in the past. That's the work that I'm concentrating on. As you know, we're just coming out of a really tough weekend with the temperatures dropping at levels that are very dangerous. The 10 inches of snow that the forecast did not necessarily predict. We had to make sure that people could get out to work today. That's the work that I'm doing every single day.
What about the people dying?
That we're building safe and affordable communities and the services that Chicagoans
Safe
rely
and
upon,
affordable.
that I'm delivering those services.
And to get there, you need progressive revenue.
Of course.
And you are announcing, what are you announcing on that front?
Well, look, I've said from the very beginning that we have to ensure that the state of Illinois plays its part in generating revenue so that we can actually deliver those services. I've said from the very beginning the millionaire's tax is something that we have to continue to push for. We've received some clear indication from members of the General Assembly that they support this effort that I'm pushing for. The digital ad tax is another opportunity for us to generate revenue, to go into our schools, to build more affordable homes, and of course to deliver services for people. So look, we know that the ultra wealthy in this city, in this state, have to pay their fair share in taxes, corporations as well. We saw the largest upward transfer of wealth into the hands of big corporations than any other time in America's history at the expense of healthcare, transportation, housing, education, good paying jobs. So as Democrats here in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, we have to lead the way to protect working people. That's what my budget did at the city council level, and that's what we're going to work with our partners in Springfield to do.
The push for progressive.
But he's protecting illegals and giving them free stuff. But he wants to help the community of Chicago. Man, this
Revenue
man.
is not new. I want to put it up on the screen. It was in 2020 that Governor Pritzker helped bankroll an effort to implement the fair tax, amending the state, moving it from a flat tax system to a graduated one. Billionaire Ken Griffin funded a campaign to defeat that in 2024. You supported a referendum to raise some real estate taxes to create a revenue stream to combat homelessness. That failed. And just months ago, you pushed hard to revive Chicago's corporate head tax, but a group of alders passed an alternate budget. So what makes you think that now is the time it's right to push for this in a time of austerity for governments across the country?
Well, this is what working people are calling for, right? It's incumbent upon us as elected leaders to respond to the needs of the people, right? But listen, in that same budget, I passed the social media amusement responsibility tax, which is a tax on big corporations. We passed that. We expanded the personal property replacement tax, which is a tax on corporations. So it's not like this budget did not respond to the need to challenge the ultra wealthy and big corporations to pay their fair share in taxes. We are moving in that direction. Did we get everything we wanted? Of course we didn't. Does that mean that we stop fighting for the things that are important for working people? Of course we're not going to do that.
There was something called the People's Unity Platform a few years ago, and they proposed new revenue ideas, including raising the jet fuel tax, which has remained the same for about 40 years. They also proposed raising or taxing income at levels above $100,000 a year. Do either of those ideas work for you?
Well, look, I think the one that has a great deal of attention right now is the millionaire's tax. I think this
He heard over 100,000. He thought about the kind of money he was making. It's like, oh man, I'm going to be getting taxed. Yes, Brandon Johnson, pay your fair due for all the atrocities that you have committed while being in office. All the killings, the bodies that are on your hand. All the layoffs that happened from all the teachers. And you used to be a teacher. I thought you were fighting for their rights. Teacher union? No? Oh, okay. You just forgot because you got a new position. You have a lot to atone for. A lot.
Tax on digital ads, where you have these big companies, these big tech companies that promote advertisement and they don't pay a revenue share for the very people that they are actually targeting. And so here's what we do know for sure, that in order for our education system to be fully funded in the state of Illinois, in order for mental health care and healthcare services to be provided, particularly at a time in which healthcare is being cut by the Trump administration, it's incumbent upon us as leaders in this moment to stand up for working people. That's what my budget has done. That's what my fight will continue to do. That whether it's a millionaire's tax, a digital ad tax, and even, quite frankly, a corporate head tax, I believe all of that has to be on the table to ensure that we're securing the services for working people and that we're not balancing the budget off the backs of working people through regressive forms of revenue.
That's exactly what you're good. That's exactly what you're doing. These people can't afford nothing down there. In addition to the crime, nobody wants to pay for nothing down there. And all the big corporations are leaving. They're moving to Texas, Florida, Tennessee. They're getting away from y'all. Man.
That quite frankly have prevailed. But we are in a political season now where the people are actively calling for progressive revenue, and it's incumbent upon us to respond to
asking for you to get the hell up out of office.
Got about 20 seconds left. You made some news tonight with a big announcement. I'm wondering if you might want to make news campaign-wise 2027 news, because a lot.
Man, we don't care about his campaign. I don't see him winning. He has been just terrible for the state of Illinois, or for the city of Chicago. I don't know why they put a school teacher with no sense of how to run a city. What I think we have to do extensive background checks when we have these people. Just like in Maine with that transgender, because what's the facer? The gentleman with the Nazi tattoo had to drop out, I can't even remember his name. And they asked his qualifications, the transgender. And they said they were a songwriter and something else. A songwriter. That's what qualifications this is sad. America, if we continue on this trend, is just going to go down, down, and down. And the next generation, after we're passed away, after we're gone, we're ash, they're going to have to suffer for the consequences. They're going to suffer. But we have to make those changes and stay away from people like this right there. Brandon Johnson, he's the age of the chaos. All right, go down to the comment section. Tell me how you felt about the video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you. Peace.